Hello, welcome. I'm Pauline from Pauline's Quilters World, and I'm really thrilled that you can be here with us today. We're coming to you through the Great Australian Craft Show. It's the 6th show that they've been presenting for us over the last 6 months, and I do believe there's one more to come in October, so stay tuned for that. But we're really happy that we can be showing you different things while you're at home and that we're at home. It's so sad that we can't be getting out to all the craft shows, and hopefully one day soon that's going to happen. So whether you're watching us from America or Canada or Australia or wherever you're watching from, share this out there. Let people know that there's some great content happening in this show. There's just not me, there's lots and lots of other exhibitors with some great things to see. And I'm also presenting classes, 4 new classes through their platform in their classroom, where you pay a $20 subscription, and that subscription starts from the day you join, and it takes you through for a month. And you have lots and lots of classes available to you in the library from all different tutors, from all different crafts and genres. So join in the fun. But we're here today to show you our garden maze quilt. I love working with batik fabrics. I get all my fabrics from QAYG. She has a great website with it's just all batiks. They're bright, they're happy, they're beautiful to work for. You don't get any stretching, any fraying. It's just a lovely, lovely cloth to work with. But we've got our garden maze pattern for you. It's a little pattern for a small throw. You could make it a lot bigger and turn it into a beautiful quilt. So all the instructions come in the pattern. We give you all the instructions for making each of the blocks. It is a quilt as you go quilt, as all my quilts are these days. I'm really into teaching people how to do their quilts quilt as you go, because my big struggle is trying to quilt a big quilt through my little domestic machine. So doing it as a block at a time and quilting one block at a time makes it so much easier. But in here we get our applique patterns, which I'm going to show you what I use to trace up all my applique shapes. Also, we give you a little template. Now, this is for squaring up all of our triangles and our 4 patches, because I find that a lot of times when we make our triangles on that, and if we don't square them up, we don't get the points matching perfect. So let's show you how we use all of these tools. So I'm going to use the mesh transfer mat. This is a mat that has little holes in it, tiny little holes, and I've probably used this for I don't know how many years. Years and years and years and years and years. It's something that never wears out. But it's a perfect tool for tracing an applique shape. So put your pattern down, put the mat over the top. It doesn't matter what side you use, there's no right or wrong side to it. It's perfect if you have to mirror image your design. So we start tracing with the 2B lead pencil. Now I'm going to get you to look at this lead because I've got it very, very blunt. If you have a sharp lead, like we normally would use, if you start tracing onto this mat with a sharp lead, it will just break the lead because this mat's got tiny little holes in it. So what we do is we just simply trace. Just trace over the top. You can hear it running over the holes in the mat. I'm just going to put it down and we just continue to trace. Press hard. I find if you don't use a 2B lead pencil, a hard lead won't mark the mat nicely for you. And yes, you're going to get pencil lines on your patterns, but you can erase those off. Now I'm going to turn the paper over so that you can see that design. So you see that very clearly there. Once you've got that all your pattern traced onto the mat, you simply put your fabric down. Now when I trace onto fabric, I use my 3-in-1 workboard. I'm going to use the sandpaper part of the board, because when I put my fabric down, if I just do it on a table surface, I find when I'm tracing my fabric stretches. If I use the sandpaper, my fabric doesn't stretch. Put the mat down on top and then use a fabric marking pencil. I use the Bohin brand marker. I love it because I know that it won't break as I run over the holes in the mat. I know that I can change my lead to a white lead if I'm marking on darker fabrics. If I'm marking on lighter fabrics, I use the black lead. So you can possibly hear that running over all those little holes. So there I have, and I don't know whether the camera will pick that up, but there I have the pattern traced on to my fabric. Now I'll cut that out and I'll put it in place. But when we finish with this mat, I'll just turn this back to the back. When you finish with that, all you need is a normal paper eraser and you erase the design off. And your mat's clean, ready for your next applique shape. And that's why you can use it for years and years and years and years and years. If you use it a lot and you don't erase all the black lead off it properly, you can put this in hot soapy water and scrub it. You can wrinkle it up, won't hurt it. You can iron it with a hot iron. So I just find it's a fabulous, fabulous tool to use for any application. If you want to put a quilting design onto your quilts, use this as your stencil. If you want to trace anything, it's the mat to use. So they come exactly like this. So that's the tool, and you would cut this shape out, and once you cut the shapes out, I glue all my applique shapes on. You can see my shapes here. I glue them all on with the Roxanne glue based. It's another great product that I love to use. Now when we do all of our triangles and squares, I've got some squares cut out here, just press them. Now to turn these into triangles, I use the set of 3 quarter and half square triangle tools. So 3 different sizes in the pack for all different reasons, but I'll just show you how I use this one to do my triangles. We have the arrowhead at the end. We're going to put this arrowhead right into this right angle corner. We've got a line through the middle. That line should come straight up to this point here. If it doesn't, you know your square's not a true square. Set that down, and then we'll use our fabric marking pencil and we'll mark either side of the ruler. A lot of people draw a line through the middle and then stitch a 1/4 inch out each side. But I prefer to draw my stitching line. When I draw the line through the middle, that's an actual cutting line. I don't need that. I need the lines that I'm going to stitch on. So I use that ruler, I draw those lines and I stitch on that line. Once I've got those 2 lines stitched, I then cut through the middle. And if I cut crooked, it doesn't matter. But if I stitch crooked, it does matter. Once you've got your triangles made, you can see we've got these done and we've cut them apart. I press the seam on both sides and then I press back to the dark. And notice I'm using the little mini iron. I love that because it's not stretching the outer perimeter of my block. So there's my block. Now I always make my blocks a little bit bigger and then I trim them back. So we use the little tool. We come back to our 3-in-1 board. We use the cutting surface. Now I've designed the ruler with splits in here because we've got bulk. I just find if I don't have the splits in here, the ruler moves too much. So we'll pop it down. Now that ruler doesn't move. And then all we do with our rotary cutter, and I love to use a little cutter because I get no movement out of the fabric. You can get a lot of distortion with a big blade. I find using the small blade much better. Yes, I'm getting a little bit of waste of fabric, but I'm getting a perfect size, so I know all my blocks will come together perfectly using this little ruler, trim off ruler to trim it all up. So there now we have perfect triangles joined together, the perfect size. So then we just piece them into the block, make the block up. When I do put the blocks together, we've got our little squares all made and trimmed up. When I join these together, we can see that these are going to match perfectly because they've been trimmed back to be the perfect size. And when I go to my sewing machine to start sewing, I use the double fork pin, and this is a very hard pin for the camera to pick up, but it's a double pin, and we're going to pin our blocks together. Put them the right way up. Now if I was going to pin these, I pin this pin so it goes either side of the stitching line. If I put two separate pins in there, I get movement from my pins. So using the double pin, it goes either side of the seam and we just pin in. Don't take too big of a bite. What I mean is if I pin in like so and then take a big gap, it distorts the fabric too much. So you don't want a big gap or a big bite, you just want to take a tiny little bite in and back up. And you don't even have to pin close to the edge. If you pin in a little bit, it'll still hold it, and then you don't have to remove the pin as you sew. So I'm going to be sewing down here, so that pin will hold everything in place perfectly for me. So once I stitch and join my blocks together, they'll come out absolutely perfect. You'll have your points all perfect. They'll all sit in nicely together. Press your back nicely. And that's another thing why I love the little mini iron, because I find with my big iron it flips the seams all the time. Using the little mini iron, I don't have that seams flipping. It just makes for a great result. Then the next stage you do is you'd cut your backing and your backing out for this. You would then quilt the block, then you would start to join it together in our Quilt as you go technique using our different size sasha tools. So all the instructions are in the little pattern for you, and don't forget it comes with the square up ruler as well, specifically for this pattern, but you can use it for other shapes that you're doing too. So that's just a little bit about some of the tools that I use. I do all my quilting with the mono poly thread in the top and the bobbin. You can get the little replacement blades for your little mini cutter, but you'll find that this blade lasts you so much longer because it's very hard to run up onto the ruler with the small blade. It just locks in against it, and it makes a lot of sense to me to not use a big rotary cutter. I love the small one. We do have the triangle rulers. They come in a set of 3, and you'll see in a lot of our other videos how we use these to draw circles and all sorts of other things. So there's a great collection together there. We have our little Quilt as you go teach yourself little free motion quilting booklet. We have the Quilt as you go book. We have the set of the 10 sashes. We have the Roxanne glue that I use to do all my appliques with. So have a look around our website. Have a look at all the different things in the Great Australian Craft Show. Look at all of our YouTube videos and learn lots. Learn as much as you can while we've got these quiet time happening. And we really appreciate you supporting our business, and thank you for that. So have fun, happy stitching, be creative and be safe. And thanks for now. Bye.